obsolete, Mr. Wordsworth.
Lie. No man is obsolete.
It's a cookbook.
Who are we?
When will they take the bandages off?
You're a bad man. You're a very bad man.
This lemon sucker here. He's the most suspicious of the bunch.
My name is Talkie Tina, and I'm beginning to hate you.
I believe you're going my way.
Live from Willoughby at the heart of the Twilight Zone. Here are your hosts, Alex and Tyler, the prestigiously perfect podcast in which we call The Twilight Zone.
What is up, Gnomies? I'm Alex.
And I'm Tyler.
Welcome to the Twilight Gnome Podcast, episode 46. And Tyler, I have a little song for you.
Oh, you do?
I do. Tell me what you think of this little piece.
All right. Oh, I'm a snowflake. I'm a little girl named Tina. I'm dancing.
In the Twilight Zone. If it wasn't abundantly clear, Tyler, what episode are we going to be discussing this week?
This week we are doing A Piano in the House.
Yeah, Season 3, Episode 22, original air date, February 16th, 1962. This was directed by David Green and written by Earl Hamner Jr., who did 8 Twilight Zones. He only wrote 8. Do you want to know which 8 he wrote?
I do. We've had him before, right?
This
The
is
name
our third Earl Hamner Jr.
Oh, he's only done 8. Wow.
Yeah, he is kind of known as the weaker of the 4 main writers. There's obviously been a couple writers that did an episode here and there, but pretty much it's Rod did the majority, then Matheson, Beaumont, and Earl Hamner Jr. did 8. And the 8 that he did are The Hunt, A Piano in the House, Jezebel, Ring-a-Ding Girl, You Drive, Black Leather Jackets, Stopover in a Quiet Town, and The Bewitching Pool.
I like 2 of those.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably... Obviously, I like Stopover is awesome.
Stopover in the Hunt for me.
Yeah. Dun, dun, ba-dun. That's why he's kind of known as the lesser, but still. Take this moment. I usually do this at the end, but I don't know if anyone listens past our review, but if you guys could please like and subscribe on the YouTube page, and we are now on Spotify, and if you are listening to us there, if you could please review us there. Give us a 5-star rating. Come on.
And I think we're also on Apple Music.
I've been trying to get it on there. They asking for they made it a cunt.
Okay.
But yeah, so we're on Spotify, obviously YouTube. We are on iHeartRadio, and Amazon has a podcast thing as well. And I'm working on the Apple podcast, but they do not make it very user-friendly.
Nice. And don't forget to like our Facebook page and follow us along there, and be sure to comment on all these videos. We'd love to hear you guys' different ideas for new name segments. If you got a funny one, we'll read it. So yeah, be sure to leave comments.
For sure. All right, Ty, we'll jump right into it. What was your favorite moment?
So mine was kind of an aesthetic one this week. I really loved in the beginning when he's in that shop. There's a shot with the mirror. I just thought it was really cool. It's kind of like a bowed mirror where it's kind of like
convex
fish lens. Yeah. I just really liked the look of that. It was cool.
That was cool. But my favorite was pretty much just the introduction of Marge. Her whole character definitely made the episode. We were talking about it a little bit earlier, how it is odd that she's making fun of herself as much as others make fun of her, but I guess she owns the moment.
Which is either really mean of the writers of the episode that just to throw in a bunch of fat jokes, or maybe they were trying to do a whole empowerment of if you can't make fun of yourself sort of thing, but it was... Yeah,
quite possibly, but she definitely did have the best lines, and I chuckled quite a few times at
she definitely did, yeah.
And you feel terrible for her at the end.
Yep.
We have the technology to rebuild him.
Doctor, what have you created?
I am, for all intent and purposes, AI Serling.
So every week I put a prompt into ChatGPT, come up with a Rod Serling style intro, and this week I actually am pretty impressed with. I really enjoy this one, being a music lover, and I think you'll appreciate this as well.
All right.
Meet Fitzgerald Fortune, a man of means, of refinement, and of a peculiar curiosity, a collector, not of things but of secrets, drawn to the hidden recesses of the human heart like a moth to a flame. His latest acquisition, an unassuming player piano, is more than just an instrument of melody, it is an instrument of revelation. With each roll of paper and press of a key, it will coax forth emotions long buried, truths long denied, in confessions that should have remained unspoken. Fitzgerald Fortune believes himself to be a man in control, a maestro of conducting a symphony of manipulation. But like all men who fancy themselves masters of the game, he is about to learn a lesson in music. One composed in a minor key, played in a place just beyond the reach of reason, a place we call the Twilight Zone.
Nice. During the beginning, I was like, "Where's all these like musical terms that are not hiding?" And then they popped out at the end. I was like, "I like the ending. It had a lot of good ones. Maestro of manipulation. That's good."
I did. That was really good. I was almost going to use that as one of my new names, but I was like, I didn't come up with it.
That'd be cheating.
Just going to start using ChatGPT to come up with them and come up with some badass ones.
That would actually be a good idea too.
I feel like that would be unfair.
Yeah, new name segment where it's just all AI generated.
It'd be a lot better.
Beats all of ours. Or porno parodies AI way better.
I don't know if it would do that. It has a lot of restrictions on things like that, but maybe. All right, so every week, Tyler and I come up with a few questions for each other to keep each other on our toes while watching said episode. This week, I came up with 3.
I came up with 3, but it was real hard. This was like really pulling teeth to get 3.
It was, and you already said one of mine, so.
How have I already said it?
I'll just get it over with now. What is Marge's name is not Marge, it's what?
Large Marge. No?
At what point? Tina.
Oh.
At no point do they call her Large Marge.
Well, like, her name isn't actually Tina. I thought it was just like she was having like a fantasy about being a little girl named Tina.
Yes, so my question was, Marge's name's not Marge, it's what? That's what he says in the thing.
I guess, yeah. Tina, yep. Large Marge.
Tell him Large Marge sent you.
What movie was that
Pee-wee's
from?
Big Adventure.
I think it was from something else too. Like Dodgeball has someone named Large Marge. The girl that Justin Long has to lift. Don't they also call her Large Marge?
No, she has like a Russian name.
No. At the beginning, at his high school.
I don't think she has a name. It's just funny that.
Oh, I thought her name was. There's a movie. Look it up if you guys know what I'm talking about.
It's Pee Wee Herman. I know for a fact.
Maybe it's something other than Pee Wee Herman. All right. My question. In the opening scene, what animal skull is shown during the mirror shot?
Is it a horse or a cow?
It's a rhinoceros. You could tell because it has horns.
How old is Esther turning?
She's turning 26.
Correct.
And they must have married when she was 20 because they say 6 years ago, so he's a bit creepy. As Mr. Fortune leaves the store, a cash register can be seen. What number does it display?
40 cents.
Correct.
And my final question, how much for the piano?
$200, which is a steal because it also includes delivery.
Right. Which I think that would be like over $2,000 today for a used piano.
Yeah, but if it includes free delivery and it's a player piano, like those things are pretty rare.
I bet you could get a piano delivered for like $200. I think you could.
I don't know. They're quite heavy. I don't know. All right. And my last question. This is a cheat because they don't actually say the answer to it. It's more how well do you know music. What song is played for Marge?
I don't know.
Claire de Lune. It's the same one from like the end of Ocean's 11 when they're all standing at the Bellagio.
The original one or the George Clooney one?
The George Clooney one, yeah. I haven't seen the original.
Me neither. All right, we'll jump right into the plot of this one. We open up on the antique shop. A man walks in. We don't know it yet, but this is Fitzgerald Fortune. Super douchey name for a super douchey, unlikable character.
Also the most ridiculous name, too. Like, your last name is Fortune? Like,
Fitzgerald
I'm
Fortune.
a rich guy and my last name is Fortune. Like, okay, Rod. Well, actually, this wasn't even written by Rod, so...
And he's like, is anyone there? And then we get this really cool mirror shot where he walks up to the mirror, and as he exits, another man enters. And I get it after knowing what happens, but at first I was like, why are they making this store owner such a douche? But in order to show the transformation, you kind of have to have one extreme.
But I think it doesn't make any sense the way they should have flip-flopped the extremes. He should have been a super nice guy because obviously you own a store, asshole. Like, how are you going to sell anything if you're a dick to everyone that walks in? And he's like, oh, you're taking up my time. It's like he literally just asked you, like, this is your job, dude. And he's pissed at everything.
Right. The owner's pretty much ignoring him, and he's like, how do you do? I'm Fitzgerald, and good for you, pretty much. And it's really funny because Fitzgerald says something to the effect of, I was expecting an old biddy woman with like a plume hat and moth-infested thing, but instead I get, what did he call him?
I don't remember. I have the line written down. Isn't
misanthrope or something?
Yeah, misanthrope.
And he's like, all right, what the fuck is that? He's like, it's a person who doesn't like people.
And then afterwards, it's like, isn't rudeness a handicap in your line of work? Which it totally is.
He's like, anyway, I need a present for my wife. And he's like, well, you got the wrong place here, buddy.
Literally, like, the only customer that's probably gone in that day, leave.
Right. And he's like, well, I'm looking for a player piano. And he's like, do you have one? The guy has one. And he's like, can you show me? You're taking up my time. And this is such a funny, like, you're taking up my time too, good sir.
Also, like, think of how crazy it was back in the day. If you wanted to find, like, rare items like a player piano, like, you'd have to walk into so many stores and be like, I hope they have it. And now you can just go on Amazon and, like, Google, like, hey, where can I buy a player piano?
Right. The shopkeep shows him to said piano, and he actually puts a roll in for it to see if it works, and a song starts playing, and wouldn't you know it, the shopkeep's tune changes real quick. He's, oh, what birthday is it for the young lass?
I love birthdays. Because it's her birthday, I'll give this to you for 200 instead of 250.
Right? And he'll have it delivered. At this point, Fortune says, why, music is you're quite susceptible to the power of music.
Because right when he says that, the music turns off, and then he again switches right back to
you're gonna stand there all day.
Which I think they really should have flipped the two, like, back and forth. I think it would have made a lot more sense because obviously it's his job to sell stuff, like be the nice, friendly guy, and then when the music starts, he becomes like the dick that he's hiding underneath. Would have made more sense.
True. And then he pretty much tells him, there's the door, and Rod brings us in. A really cool Rod intro.
Not bad.
Mr. Fitzgerald Fortune, theater critic and cynic at large, on his way to a birthday party. If he knew what is in store for him, he probably wouldn't go. Because before this evening is over, that cranky old piano is going to play those piano roll blues with some effects that could happen only in the Twilight Zone.
Apparently, being a critic of any kind, whether it be food or anything, would make you a millionaire back in the 60s. Remember in A Thing About Machines, he was a food critic and had a mansion? And then this guy's a critic and he's got like a mansion?
Which, I mean, like, you're literally just writing for a newspaper at that point. Like, how are you like, they probably must be the most well-known critic of all time if they're getting that much
I don't even think the most well-known, like...
I mean, nowadays there's less critics and more influencers, I guess you'd call them.
True. But anyway, I really enjoyed the Rod intro. It was pretty cool how it follows Fitzgerald out and Rod's kind of sitting behind the cash register.
Yep. Yeah, good positioning there.
I like thinking of Rod as being like a interdimensional being kind of just spectating all of this.
Kind of like in Marvel how they call them the Watchers, that like just observe everything happening but like they don't really interact with the world.
Yep. So then in the next shot, the piano is now at Fitzgerald's house. And I'll get it right now, the reverse Hitler beard thing, he like has the whole beard except for like where Hitler had a mustache.
He said that the other day. I guess I just wasn't paying attention that much to his mustache.
No, as we watched through it, just like
I'll take another look.
He just shaved right under his nose and then he's got a beard everywhere else. It's really strange. But he still has the rest of the mustache, just not the middle part of his mustache.
Maybe he just had a hard time growing it there.
It looks intentional. But anyway, the butler comes in and he's like,
do something
Marvin,
about your face.
Do something about your face. And I'll try my best, sir. Esther comes in. Let's let Marvin go here. He's really depressing me here. He's talking shit right in front of him.
He hasn't done anything, but just look at him. Look at his face. He's a clod. I love that word. I don't know what it means, but I want to start using it.
Fucking guy's a clod. And then Fitzgerald just showing us how unlikable he is already. So, don't you like the piano? And he's like, she's like, Esther says, I don't really know how to start it, so I was waiting for you. And then I'll play a little bit of this because this was pretty funny when he's like, I got you a player one because I didn't want you to waste your time. And then you find out eventually that you have no talent.
Which I can kind of understand thinking that way, but there's a way nicer way to phrase it. You could have been like, I wanted to get you this to like help you learn to play. That way you could like play along with the songs. I don't know. There's way better ways you could have phrased that. But he's, as we later find out, always a dick to people on purpose. So.
This piano plays itself.
Yes, wasn't that considerate of me? See, I didn't want you to take all those tedious lessons and then find out at the end of it all that you really had no musical talent at all.
I see.
No thanks for my birthday present?
Thank you, Gerald.
Oh, let's hear what this one sounds like.
They start playing it, and wouldn't you know, so he says it has a happy title, so obviously whatever the song is reflects the emotions of the listener.
Is that how it's supposed to work? Because I was trying to figure out I watched this multiple times. I'm like, how the hell does he determine who he's going to play, like how it's going to affect? Because later on he picks out Marge, and he picks a specific song for her, like he already knew what was lying underneath. And he does the same with, what's the guy's name, like Roger or something?
With Greg.
With Greg. He does the same thing with Greg, where with Greg it makes more sense. He kind of knows what's going on between Greg and his wife. But I was trying to figure out like how he knows what songs will affect what people.
Right. I'll get into it more because I actually have the list of the songs and what they represent essentially when you get to Inside the Twilight Zone. So anyway, they start playing this happy tune, and it makes Marvin incredibly happy. He's got a very creepy British smile, and even Esther and Fitzgerald are like, "What's going on, Marvin? You're smiling." He's, "I'm happy, sir." "What do you have to be happy about? I'm terrible to you." "No, I love it. I think it's a fucking laugh."
Which is, good for the butler there to kind of like take life on the chin, be like, it's actually quite hilarious when you're a dick to me. Like, I think it's quite hysterical. Like,
and then the butler falls on the couch. Everyone's laughing, having a good time, but the music stops, and he sobers up. "Sorry, sir."
"I spoke out of turn. On the contrary, that was actually quite the riot."
Right? He's like, "Well, that was strange." And then I'll play a little bit of this because I kind of like this. This is Fitzgerald pretty much saying that people have two faces, essentially.
This line basically summarizes the entire episode, which I really love when they put like a little snippet that just kind of like, here's the main essence of what we're trying to say.
Of course, I've always believed that we have two faces, one that we wear and the other that we keep hidden. But the problem has always been to find some method to make people reveal their hidden faces. It helps if you know what particular hidden face you're looking for.
And as he is saying that, he puts in another scroll, and
I guess I completely missed the line where he says it helps to know what face you're looking for. That makes the whole idea of him picking the song make a lot more sense.
Right. So he starts playing this song, and pretty much Esther just tells everything that she's been thinking of the last 6 years.
But she doesn't tell about the affair yet. It's not until we get to Greg later.
But she's like, "I should never have married you. I was a silly little girl. All you do is bully and torture me. I hate you."
Which, like, if he was actually a caring guy, that'd be like, "I'm sorry I've made you feel this way. Like, what the hell have I done? Like, I wish you would have told me earlier so I could change and not do that." But again, we later find out, no, he actually he knows he's intentionally poking the bear and doing things to irritate people, and he loves it.
Yep. The music stopped, and she's like, I don't know what possessed me. And he's like, "I do." He pretty much tells her it's piano's magic.
It's a magical piano.
He's like, "This will be lots of fun, make the party interesting." She kind of begs him, "Please don't use it at the party." And, "Oh, look, on the contrary." And then in our next shot, we meet Greg. He arrives at the party, and Fitzgerald's pretty much just like, "Oh, how you been? Seen any girls?" No, you know me. I love the bachelor life," which is setting us up for, "This guy's banging your wife, pal."
Yeah, we hear about his trip to Mexico and how he ended up running into Esther there once the piano starts going with his song.
Yep, because he's like, "You like the new piano, don't you?" He's like, "Yeah, it's pretty good." And he's like, "Here, let me show you. I have a piece just for you." I'll play a little bit of this.
It doesn't sound like Esther. Usually she's so grateful for any small show of affection. I think that's one of her most lovable qualities. Jerry, has it ever occurred to you that I'm very deeply in love with your wife?
And he doesn't really seem to be fazed by this as much. He's like, "I didn't think you were able to do a I fucking wish I could fucking talk better, man. I've been up since fucking midnight, but
he kind of acts unfazed because I think he later states he already knew about the affair. He just didn't know about the specific details of it all.
Right. And it's at this point that Esther walks in, and she's like, "Jerry, no." He's like, "Don't worry, my dear. I've known for years about this affair. Happy birthday, my dear." And then he's like, "But the rest of the guests are here now."
Yeah, it was really awkward afterwards. Like, he kisses her like, "Happy birthday. I just found out about your affair. It's confirmed." Kiss. Like,
And it's at this point that the first guest, well, I guess the second after Greg, and it's Marge. She arrives, and she is just fucking, everything she says is funny. She brings an energy to it that kind of picked it up, because everyone's a very unlikable character.
She's like the only fun character that actually has dialogue in this, other than the butler's kind of fun when he has his lighthearted moment.
And Jerry's just like, hey, you promised you'd be skinny when I saw you. And she's like, oh, well, all the diets, I have failed them all. And then she's looking at Greg, and she's like, you said you were going to call me. What are you, seeing some girl?
And then I wrote down a couple of her lines where the writers just threw in all the fat jokes. I might just sit on her when she's talking about the other girl that Greg's seeing. And then she says, diet, what's that? And not me, I wouldn't be able to get up. And when's the cake? Literally, these are all in like quick succession to each other too. Like they really were piling in the jokes here.
Definitely. Looking at her IMDb page, it seemed like she was obviously typecast for that, because even though unfortunately she's probably like very average American weight size, like back then she was a very big woman. Yeah, she says, well, I'm going to have to sit on that girl there. And then the other guests arrive, and Marge is pigging out. She's eating the oysters and stuff like that, saying a couple of lines you said. He tells everyone sit down, and she said that she won't be able to get back up.
She got knocked down. She won't get up again.
And then I like this. Jerry just belittles the whole thing. Now, since you're Esther's friends, you're probably prone to playing games like pin the tail
on the donkey.
Such a fucking dick.
Like, God, like, what did Esther see? Like,
money?
Could she divorce him? Was this like before divorces were? I mean, you could obviously
there was divorces, but I think it was a lot more frowned upon in the 60s.
Yeah. You think that's probably? You think it was the money that kept her in there, or you think it was the whole?
I would imagine. Why would she go for someone who's like double her age?
Well, it sounds like it was one of those like, oh, I dated my professor because I thought he was so smart, but then he just turned out to be a dick that belittled. Like that's what I was kind of feeling with this.
It could have been that, but I don't think he was a professor.
No, but he has that professory air to him. This like, oh, I'm so much better than you because I know things and read books.
Right. But he's like, all right, I know you'd rather play games like that, but let's do something different. You notice that Greg looks kind of like Mac from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
I don't think he looks anything like Mac now.
And it's at this point, Marge, where's the cake? I'm hungry. She's like, I need a volunteer. How about you, Marge? Listen to this. And he plays some music, and he's like,
Claire de Lune.
He's like, what's your name, Marge? It's not Marge, it's Tina. I'm a little girl. I like to dance. Well, then dance for us. She dances. And he's like, are you always Tina? And she's like, no, sometimes I'm a snowflake. And this one's kind of, I felt bad because she's like, I'm fit,
light and dainty.
And I'm like perfectly formed and fit and all that.
Yeah.
You start to feel really bad for Marge. And then she dances, and she's actually like showing her true self, which is pretty nice. And then he starts laughing at her, and the song stops, and he's like, it was just a joke. And even everyone is kind of just like, what the fuck, dude?
This story could have had a lot more lighthearted and uplifting tone too, if the message is more just like be yourself that you're afraid to reveal underneath. Like you could have had Marge's character being like, I'm kind of like she is in here, like you want to be this other thing, and like you're kind of too afraid to like express it. It could have been very different, where the face underneath gets revealed to be a nice face too that people like are receptive to, instead of just like, oh, everyone's a shitty person underneath.
True. It's at this point that Esther tries to stop this whole thing, and Jerry's just like, no. We're going to find the devil who's in the room. He goes to make a drink, and it's at this point that Esther switches the song. She picks the lullaby song.
I'm afraid.
What are you afraid of, devil?
I'm afraid of the dark.
You're just a poor, frightened kid.
That's a secret. I'm afraid of you all. Did you know that I envied you, Marge? I can't embrace the world as you do.
This obviously seemed like the writer's like wet dream for someone he dislikes to say to him.
Right.
Pretty much.
But I mean, it's really nice and sentimental. Like it's kind of like, I don't know. I really like this whole revelation of like, oh, like the reason he's acting like such a dick is because like he's either envious or afraid, or like it's coming out of places of fear. And yeah, I like that.
And it's at this point the guests are kind of like, we should probably be getting the hell out of here. And Esther's about to go, and Greg's like, do you want to come with me, Esther? Yeah. Like, fucking dick.
Well, at first he starts walking out and is like, I'm going to go. Turns right around. Come with me.
And then we get a really funny line from Jerry, and he's like, if you all leave, I'm going to be naughty.
I'm going to be very naughty. It kind of sounds like, and because of the British accent too, like it reminds me of Stewie Griffin.
And Jerry starts ripping the music out of the piano. The butler comes in, and he's like, don't laugh at me.
You're not funny anymore. What does that mean?
I guess because he's pathetic, so he's not going to laugh at the pathetic man, essentially. Probably something to that effect.
But, like, the butler wasn't even in the room when all this stuff happened.
He probably overheard. I would imagine he creeps on stuff.
Even if the butler did, what was it that the butler found funny before that now that he realizes why he's doing what he's doing, is it not still funny for him? I just didn't get that.
Maybe he feels bad for him and is like, inside he's a little child, so now I'm not going to laugh. Who knows?
I don't know.
And then Rod takes us out.
Mr. Fitzgerald Fortune, a man who went searching for concealed persons and found himself in the Twilight Zone.
And that is our episode. Tyler, what did you learn?
Servants love being emotionally abused.
Yes, they do. All right, we'll jump right into ratings. IMDb currently has this at a 7.5 out of 10. Do you think? I think we're going to be kind of close.
I think we're going to be somewhat close, yeah.
You want to try it?
All right, ready?
1, 2, 3,
6.5.
All right, so close.
Yeah.
Pretty close. Yeah, I'm giving it a 6 because it's better than, like, forgettable, but it's just barely above forgettable.
Yeah, it's one of those episodes that I remembered the general plot to, but didn't really particularly stick out in my mind. Like, it had some cool concepts, but I feel like there's definitely a lot of stuff that could have been changed.
Who are they? Where are they? What are they? Let's find out together in the Twilight Gnome presents Inside the Twilight Zone.
All right, so this week we have Barry Morse. He played Fitzgerald, and just like you and I thought, it is not the guy that played the Howling Man.
Which is crazy.
They do look very similar.
Maybe it's just the beard.
Yeah, quite possibly, but he does look a lot like the devil in that one. But anyway...
And he's even called the devil in this one.
Right? Barry Morse was in one Twilight Zone from the 80s. He was in... This was the only Twilight Zone from the original run he was in. He was in one Outer Limit, one Hitchcock Presents, and one Playhouse 90, and he was just in a bunch of B movies pretty much in the 70s and 80s. He's got a lot of credits, but nothing really major. Credits.
Lenny Kravitz.
Then we have Joan Hackett. She played Esther. She was in one Hitchcock Presents, two Bonanza, one Taxi, one Love Boat. She died pretty young of cancer, unfortunately. She died at 49, and she was actually very good friends with Carrie Fisher.
Oh, neat.
And then we have Cyril Delevante. He played the butler. I picked him because he was in 4 episodes of The Twilight Zone, actually.
Oh.
He was in A Penny for Your Thoughts, A Piano in the House, The Silence, and Passage on the Lady Anne.
So that's why it looks so familiar. Because when I was watching this episode, I'm like, I've seen this guy before, but like where?
You've never seen Passage on the Lady Anne. I can't remember what A Penny for Your Thoughts was. And The Silence, that's the one where the guy gets his vocal cords, I believe.
I remember The Silence, and Penny for Your Thought is the one where the guy can read people's minds.
I would imagine he plays like a butler in every single one.
Yeah, probably.
All right. The face on the piano is a New Zealand Morai Tiki. I probably butchered that, but anyway. Every time the piano is used, the emotions of the listener reflect the song. So just like he played Lullaby, so then he went back to like a child state, essentially.
Yep.
And so on and so forth like that. Yeah, the song that the shopkeep listened to was In the Mood for Love, which is why he started going, oh, I love love. I want to see you guys.
So I wonder what would happen if you played a song that wasn't relative to anyone's like hidden face. Then would nothing happen?
I don't know.
Because the whole point is like if
there's a couple times like it doesn't work on him until the very end. So
yeah,
it's kind of weird.
So I would imagine if you have a room full of people,
just whoever is the most susceptible to it is drawn to it, essentially.
But then, what if there's just one person in the room? Every song that plays, you're gonna, I don't know,
perhaps. The original name for the script that Earl Hamner Jr. sent to Rod was called Won't You Play a Simple Melody?
A little wordy.
Even a piano in the house. None of that, I mean, no, we'll get to it when we get there, but I think we can have that better.
I think I have some good ones.
In total, this episode cost $40,833. Pretty average, a little on the low side. The director received the usual $12.50, which was pretty common for season 1, 2, and 3. And the cast received $5,185. Kind of on the lower side, but pretty average.
I'm guessing most of that went to, I mean, primarily there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 main characters with speaking. The rest of them probably didn't get much at all.
Oh, for sure.
What'd you say your name was?
What's in the name, Mr. Whittaker, really? A mere question of semantics. Just language. A mere stretch of words.
So every week, Tyler and I come up with a few alternative titles for the episode we are watching. I actually did find it kind of hard. I only came up with 3.
I have 7.
Oh, all right. Go for it.
All right, I'll start with my debacle, the dissonance debacle.
Good. I was fucking looking everywhere for something beginning with a D to do with music and all that. All I got was the doo-wop debacle.
Doo-wop, doo-wop, doo-wop. All right, my next one, the Two-Faced Tunes.
Yeah. Tyler Perry's Piano in Da House.
It has nothing to do with Tyler Perry, but
Because of the Piano in Da House. I don't know. I thought that was funny.
I have Piano Personalities.
My best one and final one, Musical Revelations.
That's nice. I have Tune or Dare, like Truth or Dare.
Yeah.
I have The Fledgling Fears of Fitzgerald's Fortune.
Yeah, that's good.
I have Unchained Melody.
Yeah.
Do you know the song Unchained Melody?
Oh, my love.
And then I have Character and Chords.
Yeah, pretty decent ones. What about switcheroos? I have 2.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6.
Oh, jeez. All right, Penny for your thoughts.
No, I don't have that one. I have The Whole Truth.
Yeah, that's my other one.
A Thing About Machines. I Sing the Body Electric. The Bard. Sounds and Silences, and The Masks.
All pretty decent.
Yeah. You are now about to penetrate the Twilight Zone.
All right, so every now and again, if we have a decent, worthy porno parody title name, we will do so. I have one. Do you have one? Just
I
one?
have 2, but they're very similar.
All right. I would imagine we're probably going to be on the same page. I'll let you go first. I'll see if you got
All
one.
right. I'm going to do my best one first. So instead of a piano in the house, a penis in the mouth.
Ah, that's better than mine. Mine was a penis in her blouse.
That was my second one, a penis in the blouse.
All right.
Oh, it may be better, it may be worse. The Twilight Zone did it first.
All right. Not much for references. I only really had like 3 or 4 on this. So first off, there was a 2012 video game for PlayStation called Pinball Arcade, and in it there was a Twilight Zone themed pinball machine. And on the very back of that pinball machine, there was the player piano from this episode. So a little nod to that there. Also, this episode is kind of referencing an old Japanese proverb that dates back like hundreds of years. And the proverb says that everyone has 3 faces. The first face is the face that we show the world. The second, the face we show our family. And the third, we don't show to anyone, which kind of has a lot of similarities and parallels to what Fitzgerald Fortune kind of had in that earlier line where he said people have 2 faces. It just kind of knocks it down to a simpler 2 instead of the 3 here. And then last kind of reference I could kind of pull out the whole duality of man that kind of crops up in a lot of fictional stories there. You got the classic Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And then for more modern fans, you have Bruce Banner and the Hulk. So that's all I got this week.
Decent. All right, so every week Tyler picks the episodes, and he does so by showing me an AI-generated picture, and I play a little game where I have to guess what it is. And we have just had like 6 fucking weeks of me giving like 6s and 5s, like just meh. And by a little smirk, this is probably going to be a fucking meh one, too. But I got high hopes.
So what's your guess?
Probably, I think it's been a while since we've seen season 1, ain't it? It's going to be season 1, but I have no idea. It's probably about death.
It is about death.
Death from season 1. A kind of forgettable one. The Purple Testament.
Yeah, you ready?
Yeah. Is it Shadowplay?
It is Shadowplay. Good guess. Wow.
I think that's a pretty good one.
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it? No. All right, Shadowplay. All right, next week, Shadowplay. I think there's quite a bit of. I think that's kind of a fan favorite though in the Twilight Zone community.
Perhaps it's not a Tyler favorite.
All right, so you guys can have that to look forward to next week. A little bit of housekeeping here. If you guys could please continue to like and subscribe on the YouTube page, that would be awesome. And if you could give us a 5-star rating on the Spotify, that would be awesome. And if you would like to, you could go over to the Facebook page and give that a like and follow.
Say, we're getting close to episode number 50 here. So at 50, we're going to do a very special episode.
We've teased it before. It's something we've said, but in the next couple of weeks, we'll drop it and let you...
Just drop it in.
Just drop it in. And let you guys know. But I'm pretty excited about it. It's one that we've been looking forward to doing.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
All right, Tyler, my final question for you. What is your favorite song?
Ooh, I think my favorite song probably changes like at least once a week.
True.
Hold on, let me pull up YouTube, look up the last song I looked up. Maybe that's it. The last song I looked up was Good Vibrations by Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Sorry, would you say that's your favorite song?
I wouldn't say that's my
now?
favorite song. It's just a song that was stuck in my head at the moment. I don't know. There's so many good songs. I don't think I could pick.
Probably a Michael Jackson song.
No, probably not a Michael Jackson one. He has a lot of good ones, but it'd probably maybe be like something in country. I like ones that tell stories. Those are good.
Pretty decent. I think mine would be right now, like you said, it changes so drastically, but Respite on the Spital Field, the last song on the newest Ghost album, is really good.
Yeah.
All right, but until then, Ty, do you have anything to say to our dear, dear listeners?
Yeah, thank you all for listening to the great melodies of the Twilight Gnome with us.
It's 4